Hello Dinarids, welcome back. We have a new Chaos Invasion event, so I want to go a little bit over the current best build for Sorcerer and what are the best spells to be using depending on where you are in the game currently. So for Mage, Sorcerer, and Archmage. Obviously, this game mode will always, have huge gaps, as you guys can see, based on combat power. So 4 million combat power will make it so, it's almost 2 billion damage, while at 2 million combat power, I'm doing 233 million. Also, really important before we go into the builds, you guys can set up teams to buff you. You can go in with a Sage and a tank that will have just buff skills to make you do more damage. So if you have friends to do that, I would recommend you guys set it up that way. For my runs, I've just been testing alone, but I would recommend you guys go with the full party to take advantage of other people's buffs, right? So that said, let's talk a little bit about the best builds currently for the Archmage and what spells I would recommend be going. Currently, the best spell is obviously going to be a Harmony build. I think this is obvious for most people, but Harmony builds are the highest damage output in the game by far. I would recommend 3 different elements because at the moment, water is not great for this boss. This boss, the biggest thing it has is that it's immune to knockback, so and to pulling, so Aqua Vortex is not doing as much damage. But if I switch here to stream, which by the way, I didn't notice the camera was up, sorry for that. If I switch here and we go into Figma, as you guys can see, I've been doing 229 million, 233, 206, and the highest damage output is always just 3 different elements, and water is almost never there. Now, to be fair, there are a couple water spells that can put up a fight, but it's not that much. So the best build currently is this one here, 233, using Fire Blast as our spammable spell. 34 million just with the basic spell, really good. Meteor and Divine Wrath for big bosses are the best damage dealing spells on T3, obviously. And then the last spell is what you can switch around depending what you have. 22 million here, 8 million only with Aqua Vortex, 13 here, 16 with Water Assault. Water Assault is still doing really good damage. If you decide to go with only 2 different elements, this is what you can expect. It's like, gonna be like a 20 million damage loss, give or take, depending on your combat power, obviously. But you do lose quite a bit of damage because at the moment, for me, for example, my Elemental Harmony is giving me 2,000 per element, I believe it is. Yes, 2,000 per different element I have. So that is huge amount, right? Now, before we talk about the charms and everything else, let's talk a little bit about also spells themselves and what alternatives I would recommend. In fact, this here right now, guys, is the best build currently that I've been running. You could be switching instead to run one of each element. You could be switching for a water shot there, whatever it is. You could be running also Tempest Sphere instead, but to me the new spells are always doing more damage. So holding Hurricane for me is great, and these, doing 47,000 flat attack plus 108. This is too good. Fire Blast is too good as a single target spell. Do not use it. For charms, obviously, Rapid Cast on every single build, Elemental Harmony for more damage output, Radiant Seer as the best spell to be dealing extra damage here, and then Mana Search. If you are lower level and you are playing alone, you might need a defensive spell. In that case, I would remove Mana Search and instead put the Void Bubble, or maybe even, depending on your build, the Frost Guard, depending on what you're doing, right? And those two are going to be really, really good. So you could be doing instead something like this, right? But again, it depends on your combat power and if you can survive or not. That's it. Let's actually talk a little bit about the spells that I would recommend on every single tier, starting with tier 1. I'm going to be talking mostly about techniques, but I will be mentioning a couple charms that I do believe are really good. Starting with Mana Search. Still to this day, one of the strongest charms we have as a mage because we lack always crit. It depends on your gear and how lucky you are, right? I wouldn't run anything else in here. When it comes to the techniques, I think the only ones worth using to this day, right, even if you're on T3, are going to be Water Assault. It's going to be both wind spells because they are really good to be proccing all of your passives, right? And I don't think I would recommend anything else currently. If you are super unlucky with your pulls, you could be running Flame Jet, but I think it's a worse overall damage output than the other ones, but that's just me. For the Sorcerer, there are a few spells. When it comes to charms, obviously, this is your elemental mastery. This is your bread and butter for damage. And then Void Babble is great, but I'm not gonna be putting defensive tools in here, just offensives. So techniques in here. A really good one is gonna be Light of Dawn. Light of Dawn does deal less damage than Divine Wrath, but it's still 20 million damage. It's a respectable amount. You could go for Flickering Stars, but I just believe Light of Dawn in tier 2 is your strongest spell. Flickering Stars is great, Lighting Change is great, but it's way less damage for Lighting Change. If I go here, I'm sorry, here, it's 12k plus 42%, right? While your Fire Blast is doing like way more damage as a no cooldown spell, right? Way better. So Light of Dawn is great. I wouldn't really use anything else in here. As you guys saw, Frosty Nova can be used and it can have like a decent damage output, 13 million in there, but it's not as good. I would not recommend going with water spells currently in here. That's for the sword. So honestly, it's just the elemental harmony passive, nothing else. When it comes to the Archmage, there are a few things we can talk about. First is obviously Rapid Cast is the best charm for every single build in the game, and the same applies for Radiant Seer. This is your highest damage dealing passive currently we have as a charm. So if you guys have it, I would recommend running it on most of your builds. Regardless of like the element, Radiant Seer is fantastic. So those are the two charms. When it comes to techniques, everything here is good. Like everything here is good. Your Divine Wrath is good, your Fire Blast is good, your Holding Hurricane, your Meteoric Flames. The only one that I would not be using currently is the Aqua Vortex. And it's for a simple reason. You cannot pull this boss. And when we're talking about Aqua Vortex, a lot of its damage comes from pulling enemies together and inflicting that extra knockback damage, which can be like up to like 40%, I believe, of like the max HP, so it's really good. But if you cannot pull the enemy, you lose quite a bit of damage, and Aqua Vortex becomes a more useless spell in my opinion. I would rather use Water Assault and even Water Shot if you don't have anything else, because it's pretty nice for a non-cooldown spell as well. And those are the spells currently that I would recommend, guys. Obviously, like I said at the beginning of the video, this game has, you know, 200 plus skills. It depends on what rarity on your spells you have, on your RNG, on your gear, on 1,000 different factors. But this Harmony build is the highest dealing damage for me currently. I will probably be trying later a different build so I can push with my friends while getting extra damage doing one of those buffed runs instead. That's it for this one. As usual, we are live every single day. Do not forget to do this event because it's only 24 hours that it is going to be available if I go back to my base. All of these events are always available only for 1 day, so make sure you guys are actually participating in them because it's free rewards. There is no reason to not do it, right? And in 13 hours, so make sure you guys are participating. That's it. That's everything for this one. As usual, good luck with your pool dinner, and I'll see you on the next one.